Hello everyone. Now we'll start with STLs. In C++, STLs means Standard Template Library. They provide us with ready-made components to use, like containers, algorithms, iterators, etc. Most important ones are vector, pair, set, map, unordered set, unordered map, etc. And some of the functions are sort, reverse, final, count, min element, max element, etc. Now in this video, we will see what is pair and vector. First, we'll see what pair is. Pair stores two values together, which means the two values can be integer comma integer, or integer comma string, or string comma string, or they can even be pair comma pair. Like here you can see pair comma pair. So it stores two values. Here, for example, we have stored two integers 10 comma 20, and these two integers in a pair can be accessed via dot first and dot second iterator. Now coming to vectors. Vectors are dynamic array in C++. The declaration for vector is vector, and in these angular brackets we have to write the data type of which data type array we want to make. Like we want to make array for integers, so int. We want to make array for characters, so char. Whatever we want to make, and here we write the name of the vector. For adding the element at the end of the vector, we use pushback function, and we can access the elements of the vector like we access the normal array elements. And dot size function is used for getting the size of the vector, and popback function is used to remove the last element of the function, and dot empty function is used to check if the vector is empty or not. Now the initialization, basically there are multiple initializations of vectors. The most basic one is this one, where we only give the name and declare the vector. The second one is where we also give it size of the vector. Here n is the size of the vector. And the third one is where we give size and what the element we want in that vector. Like if we give size n and 5, then all the elements n elements in the vector will be 5. And if we have not given the element, then it will be all here, all n elements will be 0. Now traversal of the vector is same as normal array, and there are two traversals. One is normal loop, which you already know. We take a iterator I and we just traverse it over the array. And second is range based loop. Second is range based loop. In this, what we do, we access a particular element like integer x from vector v. So and this is range based, like from start to end, and we can just access it like that. We can also make vector of pairs, like this is a pair int comma int, and of that we are making vector, so there will be multiple pairs in that vector. And for accessing this, first we have to access, like this is the first element, so we access first element by v of 0, and then its first part in that pair, so dot first. Similarly, if we want to access third element's second part, so we write third element's second part. Now there are also 2D vectors. For 2D vectors we use vector, and in that again vector. So basically, by example I will tell you. See, this is in itself a vector, and we are making vector of vectors. So this will give us a 2D matrix. Now iterators, there are two iterators, dot begin and dot end. Dot begin points to the first element, and dot end points to the last element. Now if you want to traverse the vector via iterator, then here we have a iterator named it. We are pointing it to beginning of the array, then we are traversing it until it goes to the end of the array, and whatever uh, the value is, we are printing it. But here you can see we have used the dereferencing operator, because it is a iterator, which means it is a pointer, and if we want to find what value is present at that pointer, then we have to use this dereferencing operator. Now more about the dereferencing operator, I'll explain in pointer video. And here, instead of writing data type of the iterator, we are just writing auto. because the data type is vector of ints iterator. So instead of writing this big as data type, we'll just write auto, and C++ will automatically understand it. Now some of the algorithms, or we can say functions, which are used for vector are sort. Sort is used for sorting the vector. The syntax is sort, in brackets v dot begin comma v dot end, and this is for ascending order. And for descending order, we just add another parameter, that is greater, in angular brackets int, and curly round brackets. Now reverse, we use it for reversing the array, and find, we use it for finding an particular element. And the find function gives us the iterator of where the element might be. If the element is found, then the iterator will not be at the last position, and if the element is not found, then it will be at the last position. Now find function, note that find function performs a linear search and its time complexity is big of n. Now count function is used to count how many times a particular element has occurred in that array. Min element is used to find the minimum element of that array, and binary search is used to perform a binary search on that. And for binary search, the array must be sorted. And also the output of binary search is boolean, that is, if the element is found, then it is true, and if the element is not found, then it is false. And the last two functions, upper bound and lower bound. Upper bound gives us the position of iterator, where the basically, I mean to say, if our target is 8, then it will point to the position where the first element bigger than or equal to 8. And upper bound will give us strictly element bigger than the 8. Now I'll just explain you this everything in the code. Okay everyone, so let's start with the implementation of pair first. So for pair, we require utility header file. Now we'll just implement a pair. Let's say, sorry. So this is how we implement declare a pair. First we write pair, then pair of what data types we want. Integer, I have taken here integer comma integer, and we have given the values. Now what, I'll just try to access the values. Let's say p dot first, a little cap, and p dot second. Now let's just see the output. Okay, here you can see that we have accessed the first element of pair via p dot first, and second element of pair via p dot second. Let's say we want to make a pair of integer comma character. So we'll just store here a character instead of a number. Now 3 has become a character, and we'll try to access it again once again. Here you can, okay, I'll just change the character so you can identify the difference. Here you can see. Now this was the pair. Now we will see the implementation of vectors. For vectors, you will need the header file vector. Now first I will declare a vector. We will just comment out this. I'll just declare a vector. Now first let's say we want a vector of integers. So I'll take integer data type, and let's put it name as, let's say I want to keep it age. I'll just give some values in that. 12 comma 45 comma 78 comma 32 comma 65 comma 22 comma 4. Now this is our vector. Now I'll just show you how to access any one of the element. Let's say we want to access the third element, so third element will be at index 2. So age of 2. Here you can see the output should be 78, and here you got 78. Now let's say these are all the ages. Now we want to add age 89 at the last. So for that we will use age dot pushback function. We use pushback function for adding the element at the last of the array. So 89, and you know that there are two iterators, begin and end points to the last one. So what we'll do, we will just take an iterator and we will point it to end of the array, and we will print the value at the end. As you can see, it is an iterator, so we have to use the dereferencing operator for checking the value at that iterator. And here you can see we have added 89 at the last, so this iterator should refer to the value 89. So the output should be 78 and 0. Just a minute, guys. Okay, the end operator age dot the end iterator is actually at the end of the end of the vector, which means after the last element. So if we want to access the last element, so we just have to subtract 1 from that, and here you can see we have got the 89. Now instead we'll just try to push one another element, let's say 115. So now this 8 iterator should point to 115. Okay, here you go, 115. Now we will try to pop back the last value. Now we have added 115, but also we have popped it back. So iterator should point again at 89 only. Sorry, just a minute. Okay, I'll just run the code, and here you can see it is again pointing at 89 because we have popped the last element. Now we'll just check boolean. We'll take x, and we will check if our array is empty or not, and we'll try to print it. Now x should print if a vector is empty or not, and here you can see 0. 0 means false, which means array is not empty and it has some values in it. Now we'll check different types of initializations of vector. First I'll just comment it out. Okay, now we will declare an vector with, let's say, size 10. Now we can just now there will be 10 edges in this vector, and all will be valued 0. So if we just try to access any one of them, let's say we access fifth one, sixth index, so it should give value 0. Yeah, it has given 0. And if you try 7th also, it will also be 0, because all the values are 0. This was one type of initialization where we give size of the vector, and all the elements in that are 0. But what if we want to give value to the elements? Let's say we want 10 sized vector, but all the elements should be 115, let's say. So now if we access the eighth element here, so it should give us 115. Here 115. Now even if I try any other one, let's say age of 9, then age of 2, everything should give us 115. Here you can see 115. So basically all the values in the vector are now 115. Now I'll just show you traversal of array. Let's just take this array only, and I'll let's say traversal. We know the size of the array already, so we'll just use that I less than 10 I plus plus and C out h of I space. Okay, now you can see it will print all the elements. There will be 10 elements of all value 115. I'll just clear the terminal first. Okay, here you can see. And for the previous example, if we do not give the value, then all the elements should be 0. And here you go, all the 0 elements. Now let's just give some value, let's say 12, and I'll show you this was one type of traversal by via normal loop. Now we will try range based loop. For range based loop, we access elements of vector h from start to end, and we just print those elements. Okay, now we should get output 12 12 12 12 12 10 times, and here we go 12 12 12 12 12. These were the two types of traversals. Now we'll just try to make a vector of a pair. So let's say we make a vector of pair of integer comma, let's say char, and we'll name it integer, or can it be students? We can have students. And what we'll store in this, we'll just store, let's say, roll number. 12 roll number is, let's say, Yash. Sorry, uh, we'll store first letter of their names, because it is a character. We can only store a single character, so we'll store the first letter of their names. Let's say here we have Y. For next pair we have 45 comma T. Now let's say we want to access the first letter of second record, that is students second elements second part, that is the character. Now this should give us output as T. Here you go, T. Now this was the declaration of vector of pairs. Now once we'll just see a 2D vector. For 2D vector we will use vector of vectors. We'll name it T, and we'll store the values 1 comma 2 comma 3, and in another one let's say we store 4 comma 5 comma 6. Now what I'll do, I'll just try to traverse through it. For traversal through the 2D vector we need a double loop, that is I equals to 0, I less than. So first we will run the loop till the size of the array, outer array we can say, and then now we will use the inner loop. And after every record, let's say we will give a line break. Okay, so now the output should be 1 2 3, and in the below line it should be 4 5 6. And here you go, this is how we traverse the 2D array. Let's say we will see the traversal of array via the help of iterator. Let's say we have a normal array and it has 6 values. Yeah, so now we will try to traverse it through the iterators. So for that we will use iterator named, let's say, it, which is equals to the beginning of the vector. Then we will run it until it goes to the end, and we will just try to increment it. Sorry, it is t, and we will just print the value. We are using dereferencing operator as it is an iterator. Now this should just give us the output 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, we got the 1 2 3 4 5 6. Now here instead of this we can also write vector of ints iterator, and you see it will run. But instead of writing this biggest data type, we just write auto and C++ understand it. Now we will see some of the algorithms or functions that can be used on the vector. First I will write a messy vector instead of this sorted vector. Let's say we have 51 comma 12 comma 36 comma 89 comma 70 comma 2 comma 5 comma 106. Okay, now we have this vector, and as you can see this is not a sorted vector. So what we'll do, before accessing the elements, we'll just sort it. So for sorting we'll use sort function, and yeah, this is the algorithm. So for using this algorithm we need a header file called algorithm. Okay, now this should work. Yeah, now we have sorted. The output should be completely sorted array. Here you can see our array was a messy, but we have got the output as sorted array. Now instead of sorting ascending order, let's say we have to sort it descending order wise. So we'll just add one last parameter called greater int. Now it should be a descending array. Okay, first let me clear terminal. Yeah, here you can see the array is now descending. Now we'll just try the reverse function. Let's say after sorting descending, we'll try to reverse, so it will become ascending. Reverse t dot begin comma t dot end. Now the array should be printed ascending wise because we have already reversed it. Okay, you get it ascending wise. Now we'll just find any element. Let's say instead of this, the find gives you operator, iterator. So we'll just it is equals to, let's say we have to find t dot begin comma t dot end comma we have to find what is there, 71. Let's say we have to find 71. So now But first, you should know that it is returning a iterator, so iterator will not give us a proper value. So whatever the value it is giving of iterator, we will just dereference it and find what is the value present at that particular position. So we will try to find it. Okay. So now they should give us return 71. Okay, 71. Why 71 has come output? Because what do we do? First, we find if 71 is present. Now, let's say if so, find function found 71 here. Then whatever the position of iterator here is, it will be get stored in the it. Now, when we try to dereference that iterator, then we will get the value 71. That is the reason 71 is being printed. And this is a linear search, so its time complexity will be big of n. Some of the rest of the functions you can implement by yourself and check it. So that is it for this video. I'll see you in the next one.